Okay, welcome to today's sculpting session. I'm going to be streaming on YouTube and then also on Instagram. And I just want to start off with mentioning that if you haven't checked out the free PDFs there's one for the figure sculpting course. It's an assignment checklist, has all of the assignments for the figure sculpting course and the free lessons, as well as the premium lessons. But if you're interested in sculpting and you're not ready to invest in the full courses, you can start off with all of the free content, and it's a great place to start improving your skills when it comes to sculpting in clay, if that's something that you're interested in. And I hope you'll check that out. If you're on YouTube, you can find it in the link in the description. If you're on Instagram, the link in my bio, you can get those free PDFs and start improving your sculpting abilities. Today I'm just going to be working on maybe texturing a little bit on this sculpture the design that I'm working on. So he says, "That's cool. Hello, sir." Yeah, welcome. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're on Instagram or if you're on YouTube, either way, I can try to address those as I'm working. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and get into it. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not going off screen with either of these. Oh, let me make sure that I'm zoomed in. So yeah, those sculpting PDFs for the portrait sculpting course and for the figure sculpting course are a great resource for any artist interested in sculpting. So I hope you'll check those out. And yeah, if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you're watching on Instagram, then you might consider doing that, and that helps me out. Let's see, I think I'm going to let me just continue to work on this. I don't have the reference images today that I was working on, so today I'm just kind of trying to work out the texture and basically smooth out the clay that I've already put in place. I'm not going to be moving things around too much, or I'm going to try not to, because I don't have those references to work from, and I don't want to mess things up. Zoom in just a little bit. Do you listen to music when you sculpt, and if so, what type? Usually I don't. Usually I'm listening to like some sort of podcast. I prefer that, or sometimes an ebook or things like that. So I'm not huge into listening to music, but if I do, it'll usually be something. I don't know. I like classical music. I like some of the soft rock from the 80s or 70s, 80s, some stuff from the 90s. But I don't know, my music, I like songs here and there, but I don't have like a genre of music that I am that I favor over other genres. Well, I'm not huge into country music for whatever reason. That just never pulled my attention. But mostly I listen to podcasts and things like that. Loved your YouTube videos, especially an artist's X-ray vision. Oh yeah, that's a good one if you're interested. If you want a good piece of content to watch, there's a video that's called five visual hacks for artists you can't unsee. And that's a YouTube video that actually performed pretty well on my channel. It's one of my top performing videos. And it just goes over some helpful diagrams and like visual cheat codes, I guess you could call them, hacks to look for. And if you look for those and when you see those, then it can really help you address difficult areas of the body. So we talk about a couple of those. There's one for the ebook. There's one for the male figure, one for the female figure, and it's just a bunch of those visual tools or hacks to help you see the figure better. Please make a book, an artist's X-ray vision. Just love the those YouTube videos. Yeah, there's an ebook. There's an ebook out. So there's not a physical book right now, but there is an ebook, and you can find links to that in my bio if you're on Instagram, and if you're on YouTube, there's links in the description. There's one for the male figure, one for the female figure, and it's just called an artist's X-ray vision. I'm going to remove the drapery for a little bit just to work on the details here. Or maybe I won't. Or maybe we'll just say that it's tighter. But yeah, there's an artist's X-ray vision is an ebook. I haven't gotten it. I haven't gotten a physical version done yet, but I'd like to eventually. But yeah, that's a great resource. Those are around $10 for those ebooks, and they have a bunch of things that I've found useful as an artist. So I hope you'll check those out if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Somebody says, cool, I like either 80s hair and black gospel stuff. So talking about music. Yep, there's a bunch of music out there. Bunch of different tastes. But I'm hesitant to, I don't know, people have very strong feelings about music, and I feel like classical goes better with sculpting. So if I was to do some music during these live streams, it'd probably just be classical music. But I can't find a place that just has the copyright-free classical music. It's always like copyrighted to the orchestra or whoever produced it. So I need to find a place where I can just play classical, because the music itself is in public domain, but the specific versions of the song are sometimes copyrighted. Oh wait, what happened? It looks like I was streaming on YouTube. Now it looks like I'm not. Let me see what happened. Somebody's watching from India on YouTube. Oh, okay. It looks like I am streaming, so made me nervous. feel like I might have built up the chest a little bit much, so I'm just gonna trim that down a little bit too extreme. Will you totally smooth the sculpture or keep certain areas rough? I'll probably try to smooth it out for the most part. This is mainly just going to be a reference for a larger sculpture, so I don't have to. I don't have to smooth it out entirely. I just have to kind of know where things are and the basic form of everything. So I could even leave it, more untextured. But I probably will end up smoothing things out just a little bit more. It's good you're still live. Oh yeah, I guess it for some reason it exited out of the page, so I didn't know if it stopped the live stream because I wasn't seeing the live stream, but it was still streaming on the software. So but technical issues are not super uncommon. Let's see. So this is like stretching. She's like stretching, and then also the gravity is pulling down on the chest rather than up, and so the breasts are going to behave a little bit differently than they would otherwise. So I'm trying to keep that in mind as I'm shaping things with the chest. Amazing work, Andrew. Somebody says, watching from New York. Oh, nice. New York. I have not been to New York. But there's quite a few artists, a big art scene up there. I've competed with some artists from New York. There was some in a recent competition, the portrait sculpting competition that I did recently. There were some New York-based artists. Have you listened to music by Benny Goodman before? I love listening to his music while drawing. It doesn't sound familiar, so I might have to look him up. Benny Goodman. Benny Goodman. Yeah, I don't think I'm familiar. Though I'm not very good with names. Again, I guess I should be. Everybody should be good with names. It's like the most important thing you could know about somebody. And I'm not disciplined enough to practice it. So I'm trying to think about what's going on, how this would behave. I'm back, Andrew, says somebody. Welcome back. Yeah, I'll try. For some of the processes, or some of the process of some of these live streams, I'll try to put up either the video after, or maybe do a like a time lapse of some of these, because It's kind of fun to see a little bit higher definition, because on the streaming it is not super high definition, so it's kind of hard to see what's going on. Let's see, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the chest and kind of remove the drapery just to work on the anatomy a little bit, so I can kind of know what's going on. And then I can put the drapery back after. I find that to be an easier way to go about things. I did a figure sculpture just the size of what you're doing right now. It was made of air dry clay. When it was done, I realized that the wire ending was too short to get fixed on a plate. Any thoughts? So you want to like attach it to something, and it's air dry clay. Well, I don't know. I mean, you might just drill it, drill and then maybe glue a wire in place. I haven't worked with air dry clay, so I couldn't say exactly the best way to go about working with it once it's dried. But you might try, just drilling it and then gluing it in place. Let's see, I felt like the center line here was a little bit off. That's important to get right. The belly button might be a little bit higher than what I have. Just going to move it up a little bit. See that it's like right there. Sir, do you buy your tools or make them yourself? Some of the tools I bought. So this one's, I think, called a dab. a dab tool, sculpting tool. It's got kind of this spatula shaped end. At least that's what people have commented. And that one I just purchased. This butter knife, I just purchased. It's just a flat butter knife, works well. This tool is one that I've made by taking a paper clamp, the end of a paper clamp off, and then attaching it into a pen, just epoxying it in place. And so these ends, you can also use paper clips, but these are the end of some paper clamps, some cheap ones that I got from Dollar Tree. I'd say it's good to be able to know how to make your own tools, but you can also just buy a cheap set of sculpting tools and they work fine. Material, somebody's asking. This is Chavant NSP medium clay. It's an oil and wax based clay, so it doesn't dry out, so I don't have to worry about covering it or anything between sessions. And it's not for firing or making a permanent sculpture, it's for mold making and casting. And it works good. I recommend some sort of reusable clay for students just because it's reusable. So I think we'll imagine that, so in the actual reference, I think she had a two-piece like swimsuit on, but I think we'll imagine it as like a leotard, like a gymnast leotard. It comes over here. And that goes up. Did you ever finish the sculpture of my favorite person ever, Jesus? The Jesus Christ sculpture that I have. No, I haven't finished it. In fact, it's just right here. I can show for those wondering. Oh, I wonder if I can grab it without knocking things over. Let's see. I can show where that is at. I can move it without making a mess. Okay. So this one is, maybe I'll do a live stream with this one at some point, because this one is fun to, or has also been a fun sculpture. A little bit larger scale of a sculpture. You can see that one. So this one's supposed to be like the risen Christ, showing the wounds in his hands from the cross, the prints of the nails in his hands. So to finish this one, I still need to texture basically all of the drapery, and then finish the hands, redo some of the details of the face and the hair. So it's just a lot of texturing that needs to be done. But it's, here you can see the point where it's at. Just needs a lot of texturing. And then this one also I would like to maybe do in stone. We'll see if it ends up being this one or which one. I can only do a few pieces in stone before I have the sculpture show. I only have time to do a few pieces, but I think I would like this one to be one of them, because it's I've liked how it's coming along, but it's tricky. The texture takes a long time. Drapery is tricky, and so I still need to work out some details. Maybe tomorrow we'll do a live stream working on that one, because that is a fun sculpture and a good one. I feel like it's coming along nicely. But yeah, I have so many, so many sculptures and projects going on that I have to finish one, and then, I start other ones, and so I really just need to work on finishing what I start. He's looking good. Yeah, he's it's coming along. Yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll work on that one. Just texturing. Will you vlog the sculpture show? Yeah, I might. I'll try to do that. I did a little bit of it last time, but maybe I'll try to do it again and maybe a little bit more, film a little bit more during the show. It's a fun show, the sculpture in the park. Is there any way I can make my dark clay lighter? It's plasticine. So really the only way to do it is to, I mean, it's a lot easier to make clay darker than it is to make it lighter. So yeah, you probably just want to get like some white plasticine clay and then mix it in. Or you might just want to get some white plasticine clay and then mix in a little bit of the dark gray until you get the color that you like, because again, the dark pigment is a lot stronger than the white when it comes to clay. It's a lot easier to darken clay than to lighten it. So you might just get some white or really light colored plasticine clay and then mix a little bit of the gray in until you get the color that you're going for. That's what I would recommend. Would I pray you win. Oh, so it's a sculpture. So the sculpture show is not a competition. I'm thinking of it's the one I'm thinking that I would want to get some more stone sculptures finished for, but it's not a competition. It's just a sculpting show where I sell the work. But yeah. And would paint help when it comes to lightning sculptures? No, I don't. I can't think of any paint that would work well with plasticine clay. Just because they're oil and wax based. So, I mean, pigments can make it darker, but again, if you're trying to lighten it, then that's the opposite of what you want to do. So yeah, I would just try to get some lighter clay and then add the dark clay to it, or vice versa, until it becomes light enough. I'll try that. Yeah, I like your sculpture. Thank you. Appreciate it. I wanted to try paint, but I think it would be very messy. Yeah, I don't know if paint would work. I think it might. And I guess it depends on the paint. I mean, maybe oil paint. Maybe white oil paint could be added to it. But then I don't know if the oils would mix with the oils in the clay, and if they would affect the clay or what would happen. So I guess if you try that, just do it with small amounts, so you don't risk wasting clay or wasting a lot of clay. You could just test it out on a small amount. If you have some sort of oil-based paint, but then I don't know if it would dry or what would happen, because I've never done that. But it sounds like an interesting experiment. Yeah, I'll try the white clay. Yeah, I think that's probably the best bet, is just getting some cheap or similar brand clay that you got and adding some white to it. Or adding the gray to the white, or white to the gray. Somebody says, what about grinding up white chalk and mixing it with the clay when they're trying to darken clay? Maybe try taking a very small piece of clay and testing it out. I would probably not recommend that, just because it'll change the consistency of the clay if you mix any type of powder with it. I mean, you could try, and there's clay recipes. You could even try like cornstarch or something like that, but I think it would change the consistency of the clay to the point where it would not feel the same at all, and so I would be hesitant to recommend that. I mean, you could try it and see if it works, but again, yeah, you'd want to do it to a small amount. Make sure you don't ruin a bunch of clay that you're using. So yeah, I'm all for experimenting. I love experimenting with clay, but just make sure you do those in small samples so that you don't waste a lot of clay if it doesn't end up working out. I'm a Korean subscriber, and your videos really help me with my sculpture studies. If possible, I'd really appreciate it if you could tell me how to make an Asians? How to make an Asians? Oh, I'm not sure. Asians. ASIANS? NS? ASIANS. Asians? I'm not sure what that's referring to, like a type of sculpture or something. I don't know. Well, I'm glad that you found the content helpful. Yeah, if you're looking for like sculpting a specific type of sculpture or something, I mean, the sculpting principles are universal. So once you learn the basics and can understand and apply those, then you can apply it to whatever you're sculpting, and you have much more likelihood of finding success. So yeah, I would just continue to try to learn from the courses. Get the free PDF for the Figure Sculpting Fundamentals course and go through those lessons and practice with whatever type of sculpting you'd like to do. And that way you can become a better artist, a better sculptor. Okay, I'm going to, I think we're going to end it around here. So we've worked out the texture a little bit, and it's coming along. Still need to work on the arms, the hands, the feet, the legs, the face. Still got quite a bit to develop, but it's a fun pose, a fun gesture, kind of an exaggerated curvy pose. Those are fun to sculpt. Again, if you're interested, be sure to check out the PDFs, the free PDFs on figure sculpting and portrait sculpting that have links to the free lessons, and you can also submit images of those assignments with a free account over at Proko.com to share your work, and I love it when students do that. I love seeing people's work. My ebooks, An Artist's X-Ray Vision on the male figure and the female figure, are a great resource for just figurative art in general. And if you're interested, I hope you'll check those out and consider investing in those, because that helps me out tremendously. And I really appreciate anybody that purchases those ebooks. All right, till next time, I'm going to keep these live streams up for January, and then in February I'll kind of reassess and see if I want to keep doing them daily, or if I want to, do a schedule that's a little bit different. But it has been good to be more consistent with these, and so we'll keep going. And let me know if if you found value in them, and I'll take that into consideration. But all right, that'll be it for today. Thank you, guys. I'll see you around.